Welcome, everyone, to today's Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here with us. Today, we're popping the hood on a really fascinating piece of early learning curriculum. It's called Alphabet Superstars, the Grand Graduation Ceremony. We're going to break down exactly how educators use things like celebration, active recall, and routine to literally wire young minds for lifelong learning. It's like a giant puzzle, and we're going to see how every single piece fits together in this highly engineered 4-minute educational victory lap. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. The very first minute? Well, it doesn't start with a test, and it definitely doesn't start with a boring review. No, it kicks off with an immediate, high-energy rush of achievement. The teacher literally says, "Hooray! Everyone give yourselves a huge round of applause." Right off the bat, they are commanding the students to clap for themselves, which instantly sets this amazing tone of joy and accomplishment. It's a super deliberate strategy, you know? They hook the young learner through pure positive emotion before asking them to do any heavy cognitive lifting.
So that brings us to phase 1, the big celebration, setting the stage with positive reinforcement. This opening phase is absolutely entirely dedicated to just celebrating that incredible journey from A to Z. It really validates all the hard work these young students have put in. And to really hammer home the scale of what these kids have accomplished, the curriculum visualizes the journey with this awesome, fast-paced montage. We're talking bright, clean cartoon graphics flashing across the screen, highlighting specific letters like A, M, P, X, Y, and Z. Now, this isn't just about throwing the whole alphabet at them again. It's about visually cementing the sheer volume of their accomplishment. It feels dynamic, it feels modern, and honestly, it is incredibly rewarding for a young mind to see. Which leads us into minute 2, phase 2, the letter parade, active recall in action. Now, what's really interesting about this technique is exactly how the prompts are phrased. The teacher asks, who remembers the buzzy sound of Z? Or the X sound of X? Notice what's happening there. They aren't just asking for the boring old letter name. They are prompting students to actively engage with and recall specific tactile phonetic sounds. By using fun, descriptive words like buzzy, the curriculum takes the abstract shape of a letter and connects it to a physical, almost sensory experience. It just makes the active recall so much more engaging for a kid. To really lock this in, the curriculum reinforces that active recall by mapping these phonetic connections straight to everyday objects and colors. You know the drill. A maps to apple, M to moon, X to X-ray, Y to yellow, and Z to zebra. It's a classic structure, and it is classic for a reason. It works. By anchoring these newly learned letters to familiar, tangible concepts, students can easily bridge that tricky gap between abstract symbols on a screen and the actual observable world around them. Right after this little recap, the teacher initiates a completely powerful psychological shift. The children are explicitly told, you aren't just students, you are alphabet superstars. That is a real game changer. This positive labeling literally upgrades their title from mere learners to confident masters of the alphabet. The teacher is actively, intentionally building their self-esteem and handing them a brand new identity, one that is totally rooted in educational success. Moving right along to phase 3, encouraging daily routines, bridging the classroom to the real world. To actually make this pivot into the real world, the curriculum builds in a really careful, clever safety net. The teacher tells them, practice makes us stronger. You can watch these videos anytime you want to practice your sounds. See what they did there? It completely reframes repetition. It's no longer a tedious chore, and it's definitely not a punishment for forgetting. Instead, it's just a way to build strength. The children are reassured that this resource is always going to be there whenever they need it. It creates this incredibly supportive, totally pressure-free learning environment. So the crucial point here is exactly how the teacher tells them to practice. The instructions they get are highly actionable. The kids are told to look for letters on cereal boxes, spot them on street signs, and search for them in their favorite books. It's brilliant in its simplicity, really. They are essentially being handed a real-life scavenger hunt. It turns their everyday environment into a living, breathing classroom. The learning doesn't just stop when the screen goes dark, it keeps right on going at the breakfast table or, on the drive to the park. Now, to ensure this real-world application actually connects back to the curriculum, the teacher makes a very specific promise. They say, I'm here every single day with new fun learning, so make sure to come back tomorrow. This kind of language, it is perfectly designed to create a reliable routine. By promising that they are starting something brand new and even more exciting the very next day, the teacher builds major anticipation. It practically guarantees the child is going to be super eager to return for their next big educational milestone. And that brings us to our final minute, phase 4,
closing and moving forward, celebrating the milestone and the next adventure. In this final stretch, the source material perfectly balances two very different types of validation. First, you get the internal validation directly from the educator. You've worked so hard and I am so proud of you. But then, almost immediately, it pairs that with an external, physical action. Go give a high five to a parent or a friend to celebrate. I absolutely love this part. It takes all that emotional high from the graduation and just forces it right out into the child's real-world support system. It directly involves parents and friends in the pure joy of the kid's learning process. And this brilliantly illustrates the modern realities of digital learning formats. The teacher actively reminds the viewer to like this video and subscribe so they don't miss our brand new adventure starting tomorrow. Standard video engagement mechanics are woven directly and honestly seamlessly into the promise of continuing their educational journey. The call to action isn't just about channel growth, right? It's actually presented to the child as the magic key to unlocking their very next adventure. Which leaves us with this final thought. We've seen how beautifully this 4-minute ceremony is structured to celebrate, recall, apply, and anticipate. But it really makes you wonder, if graduating from the alphabet is just the beginning, what brand new adventure awaits in the never-ending journey of learning tomorrow? It's a wonderful reminder that every educational finish line is actually just a starting line in disguise. Thank you all so much for joining me for this explainer today. I really hope this breakdown has been as fascinating for you as it has been for me. Keep learning, and we'll see you next time.